babies, now you can honestly say you've heard the angels singing to you and singing of their great love for you. Yes, indeed, babies. And this is a song you carry in your heart. This is a song you sing to yourself every morning as you wake up. I will always love you. And then you sing it to everyone you've ever known and loved. I will always love you. Because really, you never leave anybody behind, nor have you ever been left behind. The love that you have, the love that you share, lives forever. That's why it's so precious to be living in that love continually. You don't need to be in a partnership to be able to share it. You need to be in a partnership with your heart, with the deep love of life that you find harbored in there. This deep love and respect for all of this life living. Even if you can't possibly understand it, you can still see it. You can still acknowledge it as life living. Even if it's a ghost, a shadow that passes in the night, or a lover that lasts forever. Whatever it is, babies, respect it. Live it. Be it. Know it. Because it's part of you too, you know. That's what we're here learning. All the aspects of the ever-loving heart. Every bit of it. Light and dark. All the extremes. Baby, we've been through it mostly in our dreams. Mostly in our heart have we lived through all of that. A very delicate art. Staying alive when you feel so far apart. So separated from one another that you're desperate for the touch of one another. That all you can think about is to hold one another. That's how far apart we can be. How separate and alone we can feel. Yet inside of that feeling is the great love one has for themselves. They wouldn't be sitting there feeling sorry for themselves if they didn't think not only were they deserving of such great love, but they are that great love that they're seeking. They already know it inside. They just want something to match it, something to help it come back to life and find real energy, real living in this ever-loving life we call the harmony of day-to-day living. Oh, babies. They just want paradise. In your alone times, you can conceive of a paradise. When you're high and happy, you're already living there. You hardly are aware of it. You're just totally happy, you know? So it takes a little darkness to help you appreciate the light. It takes a little unlove to help you become loving and right inside. It takes a whole lot of hell to help you appreciate paradise, babies. And I'm not talking about rolling sevens up in heaven. Man, no way. It's right here in your heart, babies. That's where we start. That's where it begins. And guess what? That's where it ends. It all is within you as a person. Within each one of us as a person alone and as a person joined with everyone, everything, all life that lives, moving in direct harmony to that center goal of the expansion of the ever-loving heart in the most delightful of ways that we could possibly create it. We're giving ourselves a damn fine party as a reward for all of our experiences in this aspect of the heart. That's why we created this dynamic, this matrix in the first place, was so we could step in here and know some unloving, so we could find some real loving. I reckon you have at one time or another in your life at least experienced one moment of divine harmony in a moment of passionate love. It has to happen at least once in your life. And if you've been denied that experience, I would advise you to go seeking it. Seek it inside. And babies, it'll take you for a mighty nice ride, I'll tell you. And you won't make a mistake this time. Not at all. You know, wait for the divine moment. When it arises, paradise is real and natural to you. Your natural place of being. You see? It's not just about deserving it. It's not just about, oh God, I got to get there. It's about, that's where we are. That's who we are. That's where we live. That's home, sweet home. Divine harmony, emotion. The greatest love ever known. The greatest love ever known that can commit itself to living all of life in creation, feeling every little nuance in it, let alone the major sweeps. All of the disharmony, the chaos, the chaotic love, the passions, the strangeness, the weirdness, the sickness, the dis-ease, the arousal of the great dark ones, and the hell that they create to help people seek and appreciate paradise. If you're one of those that was lucky enough to live through one of those real dark times, and you still have shadowy memories of it, you were in one of those camps, etc. Babies, do you know how big of a load you carried for us all? Do you know why you were there? It was the greatest act of love you could imagine. You took the most heinous hearts in the universe upon yourselves and purified them in your dying. It was an act of pure compassion on your part, as a people and as a person. You did your duty to your heart. Now, you may not know it or realize it on that level just yet. I mention it so that you will. So that you'll come to see and let go of all this bitterness and hostility, this insanity where you recreate the very thing you hate and begin to do the very same thing to those that you see as your lessers. Good grief almighty. What a place of being. How long are you going to be able to hold that stance, man, when everybody around you becomes ever loving? So just take a look at where you've actually been and know who you actually are. Yeah. Oh, don't you just love the coyote medicine in this light? Isn't it perfectly sardonic? Isn't it perfectly natural? Isn't it perfectly as loving as it can naturally be in the most unusual and weird of ways? Oh man, what a roller coaster. What a great flight. Man, it's like we're flying at 32,000 feet and all of a sudden we're at 10,000 feet and then we're back up to 85,000 feet and then down to 21,000. I mean, we're all over the sky, man. But, oh, what a beautiful ride. How exhilarating. You know why people line up at the door the same way they do at amusement parks. Life without this life is boring as hell. You can't appreciate paradise until you've lived on the parking lot for a while. You know what I mean? You pave it over for a bit. You know what I mean? You put it away. You pretend it doesn't exist any longer, even though it's right there beneath you, helping you along, and right there above you, helping you along, and right there beside you, making you strong, even as you go through your dark times. It's a beautiful ride, babies. This is why people do. They just line up in droves to wind up here. And there's like about 10 billion souls alive on this earth in the human form right now. Holy criminies. Wow, no wonder my old hometown's been overrun with population. Well, I can't say much. I came from a rather large family. And the last time I went to a reunion of that family, I'm talking about the Earth family now, wow. There was like 220 direct descendants of my parents already. And that's back in the 90s. So, I understand population growth. I just didn't do too much to add to it, that's all. But population growth isn't so nasty when you consider that these 10 billion souls and hearts that are living here right now, or whatever that number really is, but I sense it's about 10 billion. Whatever that number is, man, it is so cool that so many beings could be here at this time to participate in the ascension, in the recovery of the grand heart inside of the human being. Does it get better than that? Oh, hell yeah, it gets even better and better and better. It just goes and goes. It never stops, babies. Sheer joy in every movement that you make. Sheer joy in watching your fingernails grow or your whiskers. Yeah, I love them. Sheer joy in everything you do. And babies, it purifies that activity. So if you're doing something that's a little bit warped in the people around you's minds, they think that, like, say, smoking a cigarette is an awful thing to do, and they've convinced you that it's causing disharmony and going to kill you, so you're feeling guilty about it and shit. But baby, in this light, if you experience a joy in every moment, you understand that's just another element, and it ain't about to kill you. If anything, it's saving your life until the time that you're through, if you ever are. Nothing in this world is as it appears to be. We've been taught to see wickedness as wickedness and so forth, and we know what it really is. Anytime somebody's getting hurt, that's awful. That's just not right, you know what I mean? But at the same time, we understand the nature of hurt and why it exists and why people choose to go through it. Because when you come out the other side, baby, you can, truthfully, appreciate the paradise. When the one you love comes back to you, in whatever form they do, the one that's been lost forever, when that happens, babies, that is paradise. That's you completing you. That's the end of the world as we know it. Oh, Grandpa's becoming a singing poet. Oh, no. Don't turn me loose, babies. Oh, we'll be in big trouble. Deep, deep trouble, man, I tell you. But isn't it awesome? This is that kind of time. This is that kind of place, that kind of juncture. But you create it inside of yourself first and foremost by remembering your true and natural state of being, the divine state of harmony that lives in your heart, and that always has, and that always will. Purifies everything, babies. You can smoke as many, you do whatever you please, except harm another. And of course, in this state of love, you will not harm another, nor will you harm yourself, because that is harming another. You see? You're letting go of all that you've seen as right and wrong, all that you've seen as black and white, all that you've seen as dark and light. You're letting go because you can see through the lies and illusions contained in those kind of rules. Very authoritarian, very artificial, very unreal. But we chose the unnatural. For a good long while, we had to. We had to live in this crappy-ass darkness. You got to go out and live in a cow corral for a while before you can really appreciate why a cow does that, why they'll tolerate that. You understand what I mean, babies? You want to find life, go through some strife. When you come out the other side, baby, you're alive. You're not dead. You felt like it. You felt like dying a million times, and you probably died a million deaths going through the agony. But now comes the ecstasy, which is, simply put, the experience of joy in every moment that you live. Each and every one. You uncurse the moments, you uncurse the life as you begin to see how joyful you be. Just being able to live and breathe, just being able, to eat food, to walk through this life in clothes and dresses and fancy ass shoes and boots and stuff, to have a fine hat, to have a nice coat in the winter, and a cool place to relax in the summer breezes in the summer. A nice little swimming hole down the road, down the street. Things like that. They're worth, there's no way to value such things. That's real life. Being able, like I do, to live in a rather ruggedy place where nature rules, and feel in the heart of such a place, and being able to understand my part in it, and feel that heart in me. And know that we're each reflecting each other naturally, the earth and I, and all who surround us, all who fill us, all who occupy the reality in which we live. It's such a together feeling. Yet, you can live in Urbania and feel the same. It's more difficult to be that way there. And your nature will take you away from it after a while, because it ain't natural. We're giving up all of the unnatural now and moving into the natural, which again is paradise, baby. Roll them things. And they come up 7s and 11s every time. You can't crap out because there are no craps written on those dice, only 7s and 11s. And magnetically and magically, that's all you're going to see appear. We won. We got through it. The journey of darkness is done. It's over. It's history. We don't need to live in its divine mystery. We don't have to be unraveled by the stupid drama in this life. We can let go of that now. We don't have to live that soap opera anymore. Our sponsors have quit us anyway. When we were fired a long time ago, we just couldn't stop acting. Acting it out, baby. We had to finish it right to the core, right to the last morsel, the last little bit of experience in it. We've done it. We have done the most major damage to ourselves that could possibly be done anywhere, anytime, any place throughout the universal reality, man. You know, we've done the worst of it. But the important part is not to agonize over that, of course, but by seeing we got through it. Stunning. Yeah, there were angels everywhere. There had to be. How else could we possibly subject ourselves to such awful energies and survive to tell about it? Babies, do you realize how rocking this life is now? You're starting to understand why you're starting to get a little giddy and happy? Why you can finally start letting go, even though you're in the throes of the worst awful breakup in your whole life, whatever. You're starting to understand why you can be happy there, why you can be content with whatever the situation is you're living in. Isn't this amazing? Isn't this gracious and beautiful? About as rocking as it can get? Oh, babies, we are the flying heart, the work of art, the divine love that is in each and every one of us. And babies, I love you for it. What else could I say? What else could I do? What else could I be but a natural reflection of you? You want to know what you so love about what you're getting here? It's yourself coming back to you. It's your own person talking to you. It's your own love you're feeling. And that's why it feels so close, so natural, so right. Because it is. I'm a part of you now. You're a part of me. We're together. It's not just parts. We can live one another's life if that's what we choose to be. But instead, we do so naturally. By living here, by being true and honest, fair inside of ourselves, equitous with every energy that lives within us. Value none above another, in other words. Put all together in the circle of loving life. And all begins then to conform and live in the harmony of loving life, because they remember intrinsically. That means naturally. That means, as if it just wells up inside of you. How it is to be that. Because we've all been that. We've all lived in that state. That's how we prepared ourselves for this one. We created a paradise for ourselves here on this earth, in this earth reality. And we lived in it for quite some time before we became the undivine. And it is to that palatial place where we truthfully exist that we are returning. And these are not empty halls filled with coldness the way you see in palaces here. These are palaces of joy. That's what they're built on. Our sincere joy at being alive. Our sincere joy at being able to glow and sparkle as the angelic beings that we truthfully are in human form. Our beautiful understanding of the baby love inside of us that's persevered innocently through all of the BS that we could hand it throughout the generations. It's been severe here, babies. It's been rocking. Look at the music that's come out of all the agony and pain. Look at the great love that's arisen because of the music, the movement of the heart. Look at what music does in our lives continually. Pay attention to that noise going on in the background, and maybe one day you'll hear them angels singing in the way that I've described before, that 17-level harmony. It's such a beautiful place to be in. It's such an awesome place to be in. Such a gorgeous and natural and perfect life. Ain't you glad you're living it? I sure as hell am. Babies, I love you. Let's keep this thing rocking and rolling, strumming and strolling. Just let that feeling expand within you. No, we live on love because we're in love with all of life. And we're that close to it too. Wow. The Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network. Oh, your ticket to flight every night. Oh, babies, that's right.